Hi, I'm Jan Harrell. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm a metalsmith, enamelist, and educator. And today I'm going to show you how to make your own custom jump rings. These are some finished projects that I've made using a very large jump ring. These have square wire that's probably 14 gauge square. This one, it has jump rings that I've fabricated that are about 16 gauge round. These are fabricated and store-bought, as I call them, store-bought jump rings, and I use them a lot in my work because I can't make all the components. Let's get started on this project and I'll show you how to make your own custom sizes. There are two different sizes of the jump ring winders. This is the smaller set, it just has smaller mandrels, but both of them have this plastic insert that you connect them to. So why is it important to make jump rings on your own? Let's say you're working on a commission piece, it's 12 midnight and you've run out of jump rings. You need to make your own because the piece is due tomorrow. So I always like to have the ability to make my own things. A set of jump ring winders from other companies, they're very complicated. They have a lot of component parts to them and they're very expensive. But this gets the job done. So I'm going to use the largest of the mandrels because I want a nice large jump ring for my pendant that I'm going to hang from maybe 2 jump rings on a cord. I've got some 18 gauge, 16 gauge wire here. And notice the little hole that's on the end. You put the wire in the hole. You put it very close to the front edge, and it couldn't be much easier than this. You wind. That's how it got its name, jump ring winder. And I like to make several when I'm doing this. It's easier to work with a longer piece of wire than it is a real short piece. So you have to have a couple of feet that you want to twirl on here. And then I save them in a little container. I know that I've done it on this size mandrel. And if I need repeats in the future and I want the same pendant to look the same time and time again, then I've got that certain shape. So there it is connected onto the piece. I've probably got, I don't know, maybe about 6 jump rings on here, and then I disconnect it. Here's a great tip for sawing out these large jump rings. If you cut them apart with wire cutters, you're not going to have a clean seam. These need to be sawed apart so you have a butt seam that the 2 pieces of wire come together and it makes a clean finish. In order to do that, I could come over to the bench and kind of haphazardly saw at these, but these are large, they're going to move around. Take some painter's blue tape, compress the form just a little bit, and wrap all the way around. You could go 2 or 3 times around, it doesn't really matter. But you want a top and a bottom to it, so you might have to use thicker, wider blue tape if you were sawing a larger section, but I'm usually only making 6 or 8 of these. Then tuck the little ends in and do that on the other side. And now you've got your little package ready to saw apart. Now we're at the point that we can saw the jump rings apart. You take a regular jeweler's saw frame and we're going to put a 2/0 saw blade in here. So when you do that, you want to be sure that the saw teeth are facing down. Well, if your eyes are as bad as mine, you can't see where those teeth are on a 2/0, but you can feel it. And it's kind of like the nap on corduroy, or if you pet your cat backwards, they wouldn't like it. So you need to be sure that those teeth are facing down, and then they're going to be facing towards you. I'm going to put the top section in first and tighten my little screw joint in place. I'm going to feed my little package of jump rings onto the saw blade, and then I'm going to tighten it in the bottom. And you want to be sure you have kind of a, I don't know, maybe that's a high C, low D, I don't know. But it needs to sound about like that. And then you've got a nice tight saw blade in here, and we're going to be sawing into the interior of our little jump ring package. So in most sawing with a jeweler's saw, you're sawing perpendicular to the piece. But for this particular operation, we're going to keep this at a tilt. Some of the blades will touch the bottom. And because these are all glue taped together, I don't have to worry about them falling on the floor. But I'm keeping my fingers out of the way, so when I make it to the other side of the coil, I'm not going to cut my skin. If a blade cuts metal, it sure as heck will cut you. And look, I've made it to the other side. Let's see what we've accomplished. Oh look, they're all together. Oh, look at those jump rings. So in order to put a jump ring onto a pendant, you need 2 flat nose pliers. I'm going to open this up with my fingers. I'm going to put it on my pendant. One set of pliers in this hand and another in the other. You want this motion. Don't open your jump ring. You want to have them go parallel to each other. And sometimes you can just do a little finger pressure on these. Now for a pendant this size, I'm probably going to put 2 of these on here because I think it balances the weight of the piece. Visually, it looks more stable. I might even put 3 on here because that's just another way that your jewelry is going to look different from other people's. So sometimes I'll put 2 on there and say, well, I don't know. Let's try another one. Now, before I would sell this piece, I would solder all these jump rings closed. But that makes kind of a nice statement. And if we put a cord through there, so now we've got a great looking pendant that doesn't look like it's going to fly off your neck. We've got 3 jump rings in here, and it will accommodate a nice hefty cord. Make your own jump rings. It really frees you up from using sizes that are already made.
Visit our Learning Center at cooltools.us for more cool jewelry making videos. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to sign up for our email list to be the first to hear about new videos, new products, and other cool stuff from Cool Tools.